Hey friends, welcome back to Grassroots. It's time for a garden tour. So today's garden tour is brought to you from my front door. I am actually inside in the air conditioning where I need to be because we have a heat index of over 100 degrees today. So I will not be walking outside in that hot mess, but luckily my garden's small and we can see everything pretty good from my front door. So looks a lot different than last time you were here. And let's start here. Can you see this pot with all of this growth? Those are my cucamelons. Those things are so wild and they're pretty high maintenance. Oh, where is it? It's right there. So they shoot out these little tendrils and they'll just grab onto anything. The problem is they want to grow up, not down. So twice a day I have to come out and wind those little tendrils down. I've secured wire up where the handles, or not the handles, from the pot. I've got some chicken wire or baling wire that's hanging down. And so there's 3 on each pot. And I'm just training each little plant to grow down. And then they got to the end of the wire, like on that real long one. So I attached some chicken wire to the columns on my front porch and just zip tied it on there. So they'll have a little trellis right here to grow down onto. And there's one on this side as well. Right there, from that column across to that column. So once those reach that chicken wire, then they can start spreading out. And my front porch should be pretty shaded when that gets all filled out, and I'll have some delicious snacks. So over in, let's see, this bed here, and I'll zoom in so we can see a little bit closer. There's a lot going on. There is some corn. Those flowers that are about to bloom are my zinnias. And then to the right of the zinnias, those are 3 different varieties of beans. And then I just pulled the little marvel peas out yesterday. They were in that empty space right here. So that's the only empty spot in my garden right now. And then that huge sunflower is a volunteer. I'm gonna guess it probably came from the bird feeder. And then to the right of that is some cilantro that is flowering. And that'll probably go to seed here pretty soon in this heat. And then down on the ground, on the inside of the cattle panel, there is 1 loofah plant and 2 little cucumber plants. They're real tiny down there. Then in this bed right here, up against the trellis on this side, is some cow peas. And then in the front, like closer to the street, these tall, those are all sunflowers that I planted. And then behind them, it goes tomato, marigold, tomato, marigold, tomato, marigold, and then there's a sunflower on the end. And then down here are some younger tomato plants that I stuck in there. And so far, the tomato plants are growing really well. It's been very windy, And so they're pretty strong. They do not have any support right now other than the plants next to them. So far they're about, I would say, above my knees, not quite to my waist. And nothing's like fallen over or started rambling on the ground yet. So I have not given them any support other than their little neighbor flowers. So we'll see how long I can get away with that. Now let's go over to this bed here closer to us, and let's start right here are my carrots, and then down next to them I had planted some carrots, but the stray cat scratched them up, so I had a little bare spot, so I stuck some more tomato plants in there. And then next to those, I've got some corn growing. In front of the corn, closer to the street, I've got some okra. And then there are some onions. And then what else is out there? Oh, there's another volunteer sunflower up by the trellis. And then down there on the ground, you can start to see poking through the trellis, those are my Kajari melons. And I actually saw blooms on them earlier when I went out there, but I don't think we can see them from here. But they're starting to put on some blooms. I did see a couple of tomato blossoms as well in the tomato bed when I went out to water. So in this bed, right up on the trellis, those are cucumbers. And then all along the front of the bed, right along here, it's kind of hard to see against the grass, but there are cosmos growing there. Oh, let me jump back here right quick, because I do have some flowers growing in the front of that bed as well. That is my coxcomb. There's a few different varieties. So back to here, there's cosmos in the front of the bed. And then inside that little chicken wire fence area, the artichoke is still hanging on. So I haven't pulled it yet. Let me see if I can show you where the artichoke is at. Oop, it is right there, is the little artichoke, still hanging on. And it's growing slowly but surely, so it's gonna hang out there. And then next to the artichoke, all those little plants are my pepper plants. So there's, they got planted, but they still look tiny. I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna take off or what. They're supposed to like heat, so they're getting that. So that's it for the raised beds. And then in the containers, oh my gosh, y'all. There's a bee or a wasp or something. Can you see those containers right there? There's two there, right there. And then there's two more right there. And then on the end of the porch, I might walk out here right quick. So there's those two. And then down here are the other two. And then there's my kiddie pool herb bed. Nasturtiums look really good. There's my other little herbs. There's lavender, dill, and then there's some rosemary growing in that one, some little seedlings. And then let me see if I can get you a better view of the herb bed. There we go. And then my little pollinator patch is there, and it's doing really well. That alyssum's getting tall. And then this is a bust, y'all. There's my bare root strawberries. They've been in there plenty of time to start growing. They haven't done anything. And the Thai holy basil also, nothing. So that is just a laundry basket full of soil. Nothing more. But in my containers are all of my pumpkin, zucchini, squash, winter squash, and watermelon. And they're still pretty small. We'll see how they do. You might have seen over by the herb bed, there was a box on the ground and a aluminum like turkey roaster pan. Those are both full of harvested worm castings that I'm drying out right now, and I'm about to make up some little compost tea bombs from those. So that's what that mess is. Literal poop, worm poop, drying out from my little worm bin, which is doing awesome. There's so much worm castings in there. It's like black gold. And I just keep feeding it. The little Marvel peas that I pulled yesterday went into the worm bin to feed them. And then also we harvested the sugar snap peas, and I pulled that plant as well. That was on that first bed that I showed you right in there. So it's starting to look pretty lush, and things are starting to put on little blooms. All the little beans are starting to bloom down in there, and the zinnias are about to open. The sunflowers are huge. They are not blooming yet, but they are gigantic. They're right in there. So that's how the garden is looking today. Hopefully this heat wave will break and I'll be able to get out there and show you closer up. We can actually take a walk through the garden and see everything closer up. But today is not that day. So I just wanted to pop on here and give you guys a quick update on the progress. And I think that's about all I have to share with you today. So thanks for hanging out for this quick little video, and we'll keep you posted in the next one. Bye.